you doing?
Didn't you say you wanted to play Patchwork and Doodle?
No, I wanted to play Patchwork Doodle, the patchwork version of a roll and write game.
Oh. Yeah, we can do that. I was having trouble with the neck anyway.
I mean, that's still a pretty good looking horse.
Horse? It's supposed to be a giraffe.
Oh. Anyway, in Patchwork Doodle, you'll be trying to fill in as many spaces on your grid as possible. Each turn, a dice is rolled, and the token is moved that many spaces around the cards. Each player may then draw that shape on their sheet. After 6 of the 8 cards have been used, players will score their sheets. To score, you find the biggest rectangle you can on your sheet, and you make the biggest square within that rectangle, scoring for each space in that square. You'll then score an additional point for each remaining row or column in the rectangle. So for example, a 6x4 rectangle will score you a 4x4 square, so 16 points, and then 2 more points for the remaining 2 rows. You'll do 3 rounds like this, and then at the end of the 3rd round, the player with the most points is the winner.
Now, you might be feeling a sense of deja vu right now, and you're not crazy. We did recently review a very similar game called Second Chance, which is also by Uwe Rosenberg. Also involves filling in a 9x9 grid of patterned polyomino shapes, where you begin with a unique shape card yourself. But this definitely has a different feel. It's a lot more thinky. You can plan a lot better in this game because you see your options out before you like this. So you could see that shape and know that it fits really well in this particular area and leave room for it, because odds are you are going to be able to put that in there. So it does let you plan ahead a little bit better and be more strategic with your gameplay. Plus, it comes with colored pencils.
I think as well, the biggest difference for me anyway in this game is that you have access to these 4 unique special actions, and these really tie together all of these strategic differences that Lindsay mentioned. So these are really important because you can only use them once per game, so picking the right time to use them is super crucial, and you have to use them wisely. Now, to run through what they are. The first one, let's say this man is on this space here. I can use the first special action to instead use the next or the previous card instead of that one this turn. This can be super helpful for making sure that you get the piece that you want to get. The next one, you can fill in just a single space anywhere on your board. Again, really important because it allows you to either fix a mistake you've made or to intentionally make a mistake knowing that you can correct it at a later point if you want to. The third one is that you can cut one of the cards that you land on and make a new shape effectively, which could work a little bit better for the space that you've got remaining. And the final one is that you get to use one of those previous actions a second time, which is awesome.
Yeah. So, okay, it's in the name, Patchwork. How does it compare to Patchwork? Well, I mean, you're still building a quilt, you know, that grid. You're still using those polyomino shapes that you had before. And the options are still being laid out in a circle, very similarly. And you've still got this token marking a significant place in the circle. But they are really different games. It doesn't feel like Patchwork Roll and Write. It feels like they've given this game its own heartbeat, which I really appreciate because you could own both. They're different enough that you could own both. This feels more like a medium weight roll and write game, and it is quite a lot more strategic and allows for a lot more planning than I would say you would with Patchwork.
Yeah, we actually really liked this. There are a lot more things to think about. It is a lot more strategic. Every round is really important because you score 3 times throughout the game. Picking the right time to use your special actions and things like that is crucial because you're trying to build squares, ultimately. The bigger square you can get, the more points you'll get each round. So if I build a 4x4 square in round 1, that's 16 points. But if I find the right time to use a special action and it secures me a 5x5 square, that turns 16 points into 25 points, which can be the difference between winning this game and losing it. And that's something that I really like, is these special actions can be really important, even in round one. A lot of times, games like this, you'll wind up kind of sometimes at the end of the game going, I didn't really use them because there wasn't a good enough time, or at least it didn't feel like there was. In this game, I've never come out of it and thought, wished I used those. You're always like, I'm glad I used them. I feel like I used them at the right time for this game, which is great. That's something that a lot of games I think don't get right when it comes to like one-time use actions. Now, the only thing that we really have to say about the game in a sort of negative light is that the scoring can be kind of confusing when you're first learning the game.
Yeah, just at first when you're starting out.
Even the example it gives you in the rulebook isn't great. Once you know what you're doing, it is fine. But just the idea of trying to be like, okay, this biggest rectangle and then the biggest square within that rectangle and then extra points for a column or a row, once you know it, it makes a lot of sense. But when you first learn it, you're like, wait, what? What are they trying to say?
You do get over it quite quickly and it becomes more comfortable. This is our type of game. We love our roll and write, so it's no surprise that we just adored this game from the minute we put it on the table. But I would say for the two of us, there is a time and a place for this game because it is a bit more thinky and you need to strategize a little more to do well at it. It's not like Second Chance where, we've got 20 minutes before bedtime, let's just kick back and relax and play a little simple game. This is the kind of game you need to be awake for. Yeah,
that kind of leads us into what I know will be a question if we don't cover it now in the comments, and that'll be, which do you prefer, Second Chance or Patchwork Doodle? For us, we would say Second Chance, only because it is a 20-minute chill out, end of the evening sort of game. This is more thinky. This is a game that you're going to want to spend some time on, but you can't because it's only 20 minutes long. What I would love to see is Uwe Rosenberg doing what he did with Patchwork. Go through the iterations, go through the steps, go through the cottage garden, Indian summer, and then reach that spring meadow point where you've got this perfect game, this hour-long version of this. I think would be amazing. Something to really sit down, sink your teeth into, and have it be the game you're playing that night, as opposed to just the filler game, which is why Second Chance would come out on top for us. And if people were to say, which one would you recommend, that would be the one we'd suggest.
But I would say that there are a lot of people out there that would prefer this over Second Chance. I mean, your brother being one of them, like we've even had this conversation, and he has said, hands down, he would always choose this over Second Chance.
Yeah, he actually said, we're not playing Second Chance anymore. We're playing this now. So it does obviously ultimately come down to the individual people.
Yeah. Well, that's a wrap. If you will excuse me, I have got to put some spots on this giraffe so it looks less like a horse. Judge. No? That's it?
That's it. Once we high five, there is no going back. Thank you very much for watching today's video, and thank you very much to Asmodee for sending us a copy of Patchwork Doodle so we could do this review. If you enjoy what we're doing here, be sure to subscribe and click that bell so you don't miss any videos from us in the future.
We mentioned Second Chance a lot in this video, so if you want to check it out for yourself and see more of our thoughts on that game, you can watch our video.
And if you want another roll and write type game that is quite thinky and strategic, be sure to check out our review of Welcome To. Thank you very much.
See
you later.